that it's going to be my vision of being an entrepreneurial governor that's going to be conservative on the financial side, but very entrepreneurial on the problem-fixing side.
He says he'll be looking critically at each state agency. He'll be sworn in January. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Purdue Fort Wayne political scientist Mike Wolf explains how Braun was able to win over voters quite easily.
He has huge name recognition. He's won statewide before. He ran and won a really competitive primary. I mean, a ton of money was spent in that, and really good candidates up and down the line that he defeated.
Wolf says Braun was the favorite from the get-go. He says Braun's opponent, Jennifer McCormick, likely fell short with her stance on issues like abortion. The defense has rested its case in the Delphi murders trial. Suspect Richard Allen chose not to testify in the trial. Closing arguments are up next. Those will happen tomorrow. It'll be followed by jury deliberation. Today's the 17th day of that trial out in Carroll County. And Indianapolis has a plan to keep roads clear if a major snowstorm moves through Indianapolis this year. Ryan Hedrick reports.
The plan involves millions of dollars, lots of man-hours, and more than 18,000 tons of salt stored at 7 barns across Indianapolis.
It's a year-long commitment to making sure that we have the right staff, the right equipment, and the right material.
That's Brandon Herget, the city's DPW director. He says based on forecast data that the city is looking at, you could see a lot of wet days, which could tax the salt supply if the temperatures drop. Ryan Hedrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Traffic and weather in 60 seconds. It's 3:04.
Mark Dietel, as always, the only real estate expert I trust with the sale of my home, and I'd also trust him to find me a brand new home as well. Here's what Mark from Danville had to say. I finished building my new perfect home out of state and needed out of my old place quickly. Plus, to cover the cost of the new home, I needed a big price. Mark Dietel's team was the answer. My home sold in 3 days on the market over my asking price.
Mark Dietel is the best, and what separates him from the competition is the guarantee. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is the Mark Dietel guarantee. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietel today, 755-4232. That's 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
With traffic on the 5s at 3:05, here's Alan Green.
Thanks, Harrison. State Road 13 at West 800 South, there's a crash. 465 northbound slows Pendleton Pike to Shadeland. 465 eastbound is Ty Keystone to Allisonville. And the southbound collector building a bit between Ohio and Fletcher. This report brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half's recruiting professionals utilize their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Clouds decrease throughout the day today, so we will see some sunshine. We'll also look for the winds not to be as bad. It's going to be pretty mild out there this afternoon with highs right around 68. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it.
2 words. Blowout. Hammer, I swear to God, for months, and I started to believe the hype too. Alls we heard in corporate legacy media, alls we heard from the pollsters telling us how razor thin this election is going to turn out to be. Oh, it's going to be so close, we won't know the outcome for days. Hell, I think they called it at like 1:30 in the morning.
Were you still up?
No, I wasn't up.
Oh,
no.
I was up, baby.
I wasn't up. I was not up. I had poured a glass of something or other, and then I was like, time for bed. I did not make it, but I mean, look, 0.1%, those kinds of things. Or what? For months we heard that,
right?
And it was the complete opposite, right?
So the Republicans take the Senate. Looks like they're going to take the House.
Possibly.
Looks like they're going to win the popular vote, and Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States, becomes the first president in, 120 years since Grover Cleveland to come back to win. And I was up last night, man. Yeah. I was trying to stay up as long as I could.
Yeah.
Because I got to be honest, there was a lot of negative vibes I had. I kept waiting for the pallets of ballots to arrive in Milwaukee or Pennsylvania or somewhere, and it never happened.
Here's the thing in the back of my mind. What's going to happen between now and the inauguration? Are there going to be any shenanigans pulled between now and Trump's inauguration? That's kind of stuck in the back of my mind a little bit, just a little bit.
What more shenanigans could they do they haven't already done? The border's wide open. They're incompetent at foreign policy. They have a blank check for Ukraine. What more shenanigans could they possibly pull? So last night, Donald Trump goes out there, and again, this was, after 2 a.m, gave this 25-minute victory speech. I think somebody said it was like 2:50 a.m. Eastern time.
Whoa.
Here he is on stage in Florida.
Look what happened. Is this crazy? I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
And really,
like it.
What this comes down to, and I posted this on our social media last night on Twitter, @Hammer and Nigel. America got tired of the BS, the bullcrap. The national media saying you are this, you are that. The crooked-ass Department of Justice, FBI. The Hitler name-calling, the assassination attempts. The fact that real wages were going down compared to inflation. All of that crap. People drew a line in the sand. Even people who are not confrontational said enough is enough.
Just think about it. Two people tried to kill President Trump. And the Democrats and Kamala Harris, their final strategy leading up to the election was to call him Hitler and his supporters garbage.
And the media went along with it.
Oh, of course.
Legacy national media went along with it. And they were the other big losers of last night. Obviously, Kamala Harris and the Dems, but legacy national media, they've got some soul searching to do after the bull crap they've pulled the last couple of years. And I don't know about you, Nige, but social media has been a wild ride since about 2 o'clock in the morning last night. Because the same people who were calling you racist, calling you Hitler, calling you every sort of ist or phobe under the sun, now all of a sudden have these crocodile tears coming down, and they can't figure out why everybody else is wrong, but they're the ones that are right. Like, I see that a lot. America got it wrong tonight. No, you lost the House. You lost the Senate. You lost the presidency. You bastards lost the popular vote. So maybe look in the mirror. Maybe dye your hair back from green to its normal color. Maybe get rid of a little bit of the pronouns. Stop shoving all this crap down people's throat and calling them a name, and you may have had a better chance to win.
Representative Byron Donalds from Florida had a great Twitter post or X post, whatever. All he did was listed Hispanics, Americans shifted GOP, Black Americans shifted GOP, Jewish Americans shifted GOP, younger Americans shifted GOP, union members shifted GOP, moderates and independents shifted GOP. What happened last night was not only a significant political realignment. It was the greatest political comeback in American history. It was a huge comeback, for sure.
Donald Trump won Miami-Dade County. Now, keep in mind what they say about Donald Trump and his supporters. Just uneducated white men, just a bunch of racists. They don't wipe their butt. They're ridiculous. They're garbage. It was Hispanics, it was blacks, and they all decided to hitch their wagon to Donald Trump. It's pretty wild for that to happen to a guy that's such a white supremacist and a racist, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They don't wipe their butt. It's one of the excuses the Democrats gave.
You knew this was going to be a fun night when Kamala Harris refused to go out on stage at her alma mater, Howard University.
How embarrassing.
She had this big crowd there. They were all ready to celebrate, glass ceiling, all that kind of crap. And just like Hillary, she never went on stage. She sent her campaign manager, some lackey up there, to basically say she ain't coming out.
We still have votes to count, so you won't hear from the vice president tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back to address not only the HU family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation.
And according to reports, she has called Donald Trump. She's made it official. But that's a bad look last night. Like, if Donald Trump had done that, you'd be hearing Morning Joe. You'd be hearing The View. This is what he thinks about you. This is what he thinks about his supporters. He only cares about himself. Kamala Harris did it last night. So all these people with the crocodile tears on social media, all the media folks having to do some soul searching. Today, it is Return of the Jedi, right? This whole process, it's been like Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. Meanwhile, here in Indiana, no real surprises. Jim Banks, big win. Todd Rokita, big win. Mike Braun, the next governor of the state of Indiana. That race was called shortly after 7 o'clock. All these pollsters and people trying to tell you that, it's close.
Oh, again, like we were talking about at the opening segment, like, the national, all the pollsters, everybody was saying, this is going to be razor thin. And I don't think they were saying razor thin in Indiana, but they were trying to make it sound like there was a puncher's chance for the Democrats, for McCormick. No, not really.
We signed off the air last night at 6:55.
Yeah.
By the time I went to my office, went to the can, and got to my car, the governor's race was already over. So for all of the people like Greg Doyle who were trying to get people like Danny Lopez fired from the Indiana Pacers because they didn't like his politics or his commercials, for all of the Adam Wrens, this one's for you. So we've got a couple options here, Nige. You get to pick your poison. I've got a list of people who can suck it. So, do you want me to just rattle them off? Or do you want me to do it in a Hammer and Nigel Records kind of way?
Oh, please. Hammer and Nigel Records, of course.
Okay.
Please.
So, this is a lot of the people who have been a pain in the ass the last 4 years. They've called you names. They have bashed the things you believe in. And when I put this together, I've been listening to a little bit of Billy Joel.
Oh.
I will ask the question that I think is a fair question to ask. Who raised these people?
The Trump following is in many ways fundamentally a cult. It's a cult in every sense. And now it appears to be a sort of Jim Jones era cult.
A death cult.
A death cult.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, Donald Trump.
Oprah Winfrey, Joy Reid, Morning Joe, Mayor Pete, Borderzar, Behar, all the writers of The Star, Rex Chapman, Cardi B, Greg Doyle, KJP, Old Balls, Tim Walz, Marilyn Monroe. I mean, let's be honest. If she were alive, she'd be in that category, right? Come on. Rachel Maddow, Saki, Jimmy Fallon, Springsteen, George Clooney, De Niro, Howard Stern and his whole show, Liz Cheney, Kinzinger, ABC and David Muir, Mark Cuban, Adam Wren, everyone at CNN. Yeah! There it is.
Bravo.
List of people that
was great.
Have given you some crap the last couple of years, and I think they owe you an apology. Alan Green is in for Matt Bear.
465 eastbound at Meridian, there's a crash report. reported. 465 eastbound slows Keystone to Allisonville. 65 southbound backs up between King and Meridian. And the southbound collector taps the brakes now from Ohio to Fletcher. This report brought to you by B-Window. Don't miss the annual B-Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% off all products, plus 10% in manufacturer's rebates, and no payments, no interest for 20 months. Now proud to be employee-owned. Visit bwindow.com for details. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
68 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. We've got Riley Gaines coming up here in just a few minutes, but we've got new items at the Hammer and Nigel Show store.
Oh, I haven't seen them.
I'm getting ready to post these here in just a moment. We've got a couple holiday shirts. One says Die Hard is a Christmas movie. We've got another holiday shirt that says Merry Christmas to everybody except CNN. But the new item, updated today, he's back. The Donald Trump Terminator-style T-shirt, the 2024 election winner. He's back. The Trump shirt, it's right there for you. I'm going to put a link out on our Facebook and Twitter, store.hammerandnigel.com. Don't put the wwws in there. It just makes things complicated. Store.hammerandnigel.com. 3 new shirts for you to choose. Holidays are right around the corner. Get those orders in right now.
And Miss M's Home and Gardens fall sale continues. 30 to 50% off all trees and shrubs in stock. State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. And you know, we're headed into winter and you don't want to be stuck with old drafty windows making your heating system work overtime. Universal Windows Direct is here to keep you warm and save you money on those energy bills. And right now, what a great deal going on with Universal Windows Direct. For every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Oh, and on top of that, Universal Windows Direct is offering 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years, interest-free. Now, some restrictions do apply, so to get all the information, call today at 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Oh, yeah, and Universal Windows Direct backs their windows with a true lifetime warranty. That means your windows are covered for as long as you own your home. And if you ever decide to sell, the warranty transfers to the next homeowner for 20 years. Universal Windows Direct, 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
Do you hear that? These are the sounds of our jeweler's workshop at Shane Company, where they're working their magic to bring beautiful, fine jewelry gifts to life. At Shane Company, we love jewelry as much as you do, and we know what it takes to create something special. No matter your budget, we craft our jewelry with expert care to be passed down for generations. With jewelry craftsmen in every store and an unmatched free lifetime warranty, we're here to make sure your jewelry always shines bright. Stop by and shop online at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
We set out to be the very best of the best, and the past couple years we've actually achieved that. For all of the state of Indiana, we've been awarded the Dealer of the Year award twice now. Unlike other brands, that only gets handed to one dealer every year, and we're very proud to have won that twice.
Put the best to work for you at FamilyHVAC.net. Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. For the last 97 years, we've offered Central Indiana the best mattresses at the best price with free delivery and interest-free financing. Now through Monday, save up to $800 on Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Nectar mattresses, plus queen mattresses start at $399. The back-to-sleep sale is going on now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy?
You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20, with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
Great news! Indy Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers. Call 888-RHINO-41 for details.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
You set him up and I'll knock him back, Lloyd. One by one.
We are Curry Booze News, cause it's really fun.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good. Hammer and Nigel present
Booze News, Booze News. Time for Booze News. Well, not only do humans like boozing it up, but apparently a new study found that animals like boozing too, Hammer.
Good.
Research a little complicated. The idea is that animals eat fruits and like nectar or whatever, and they enjoy the buzz naturally from all the fermented stuff, the fruits, even if it's only 1% to 2% alcohol by volume. But some of the levels can reach as high as 10.2%.
Now, do they know by continuing to eat said fruit item, they get a buzz going? Like, do they know that going in?
I think probably. I mean, but just by the behavior of the animal, wobbling around, stumbling.
Okay.
And then you can do blood tests, of course, on these animals. I don't
but
know.
What I'm saying, let's say a goat decides he wants to get hammered. Like, and a goat goes up to somewhere where he can get drunk. Is he just eating it or drinking it because it's there? Or has the goat made the decision, I'm going to get faced? Because sometimes I do both. I'm just saying.
Sorry. I'm hiccuping now because I did not expect that question. That's hilarious. So you're saying the goat has a propensity for alcohol? He's got the gene, maybe, alcoholism?
Does he know that by continuing to indulge, he'll get a buzz? That's all I'm asking. Do the animals know?
It doesn't say that.
Well, come on. It feels like this is a big part of the research. I want to find out if the animals, like when they're going into it, know they're ready to get a buzz going on.
Most of the time, the animals aren't actually trying to get inebriated. It's just accidental, but there are some indications that they're actually chasing tipsiness.
So some of them do. Okay. I do have some audio, and I searched the internets all afternoon trying to find this. Do you want to hear what it sounds like when a hyena gets drunk?
Yeah, of course. You bastard, you got me.
That's what a drunk hyena sounds like, Nudge.
You
got me. Since we're speaking of animals and drinking here, a viral video of a drunk pig is making the rounds on TikTok. Her name is Strawberry, and she lives in Colorado. Her owners had a bunch of leftover beer from a 4th of July party just kind of sitting in their garage. And sweet little Strawberry found the brew. She broke the cans open and drank a bunch of it. And then they recorded the film. They recorded the pig acting intoxicated.
Oh my God. Look how many she killed. Like, this is gone, that's gone, that's gone.
Strawberry, what did you do?
Probably drunk too.
And I feel like we've turned a corner here. It would have been really easy for me to have a story about a pig and make some sort of joke about the women on The View. But I took the high road.
I totally agree.
Right? And on a day where, I'm not really in the mood to take the high road, it's kind of a fight back day for all the crap we've dealt with for 4 years. I think that shows a lot of personal growth inside of me,
It
Nige.
sure does. It sure does. I'm proud of you.
I mean, I could have chose Whoopi Goldberg, should have chose Joy Behar, a number of those awful women, but I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I'm a gentleman. That's why. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Hey, it's the Hammer and Nigel show. We don't use anything other than American standard equipment when it comes to your HVAC. When it comes to your air conditioning, your furnace, there's a reason why I use American standard equipment, because they're the best in the business. And we love the local, independent American Standard dealers right here in Central Indy.
Big Nige, how about Reinhardt Heating and Cooling in Danville? Danny Reinhardt started Reinhardt Heating and Cooling 38 years ago. They're one of the longest tenured American Standard dealers in all of Central Indy. Danny's sons and daughter are among the well-trained experts that are also on staff at Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, hooking up Hendricks and the surrounding counties. Make sure that furnace is ready and good to go for when the cold weather moves in. Call Reinhardt in Danville, 317-745-4526. Reinhardt Heating and Cooling in Danville. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Are you struggling with bad feet? Hi, this is Phoebe, and at the Good Feet store, we hear a lot about foot, knee, hip, and back pain. I'd like you to hear what Kelsey, a kinesiologist, has to say about the Good Feet Arch Support System.
As an exercise specialist, I've seen all kinds of things that people try to put in their shoes to get out of pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that they support all 4 arches in the foot.
So, did you know you had 4 arches in each foot? Most shoes and inserts only support 1. Maybe that's the reason all the remedies you've tried in the past just didn't work.
When the foot's placed in the ideal position, everything else up the kinetic chain works better. You have better balance, more energy, you're gonna feel better. Being able to move freely and out of pain means everything to me. And good movement starts with the feet.
We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood just off the 65. Learn more at goodfeet.com. Good Feet Arch Supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book an appointment for your free personalized fitting at goodfeet.com or just stop in. Walk-ins are welcome. Helping people live pain-free, 2 feet at a time.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy and drive, it could be low testosterone. Get your levels checked at Low T Center. They have over a decade of experience helping patients with testosterone therapy or TRT.
Now, for established patients, they offer the convenience of physician-monitored at-home TRT with advanced treatment that includes lab testing and medication. Low T Center ships right to your door. LowTCenter.com. Book right now. LowTCenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The city's plan if there's some problems with snow. Mostly cloudy, 68 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. No rain on your radar, low of 47 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:32. If you're wondering if Indianapolis is ready for a bad snowstorm, Mayor Joe Hogshead says the city's DPW has a plan and resources to handle it.
We currently have 7 barns storing over 18,000 tons of salt at our disposal.
Hogshead says the city avoided major snow last year, except there was that one bad snowstorm during NBA All-Star Weekend, if you remember that. Closing arguments in the Delphi murders trial are coming tomorrow. Here's Donnie Burgess.
The defense team representing Richard Allen caught everyone off guard Wednesday morning when they rested their case. The state had to scramble to bring in 3 more witnesses for quick rebuttal testimony. The state called psychiatrist Dr. John Martin, who testified to seeing Richard Allen in a state of psychosis for some time, but said Allen was better by the time he made one last confession. Each side will have up to 2.5 hours for closing arguments Thursday, and then it's up to the jury to decide Allen's fate. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
With Mike Braun getting ready to be the next Indiana governor, he'll be looking at how each agency in the state works.
I've had tips and cues for a long time from legislators that think this agency needs improvement, that one needs improvement. This one's running well.
Braun said Wednesday morning he'll be looking closely at each agency before he considers making any big budgetary changes. Kamala Harris has conceded. Fox's Ryan Schmelz reports.
A senior aide says Vice President Harris called President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. Fox News is told the vice president discussed the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and being a president for all Americans. The vice president is scheduled to give remarks at Howard University this afternoon, the home of her campaign election night watch party. Party. The Fox News Decision Desk projects President-elect Trump will become the 47th president with victories in the battleground states of Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The average price you're paying for a gallon of gas in Indiana today, $2.96, says GasBuddy.com. It's about 12 cents cheaper than the national average. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:32.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com and grow your hair back today.
With traffic at 3:33, here's Alan Green.
Thanks, Harrison. 65 southbound hits the brakes now between 21st and Meridian. 465 eastbound is slow from Keystone to Allisonville. 69 in both directions between 465 and 82nd. Some brake lights happening there. And 70 eastbound slows up between West and Meridian. This report brought to you by B-Window. Don't miss the annual B-Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% off all products, plus 10% in manufacturer's rebates and no payments, no interest for 20 months. Now proud to be employee-owned. Visit bwindow.com for details. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Clouds decrease throughout the day today, so we will see some sunshine. We'll also look for the winds not to be as bad. It's going to be pretty mild out there this afternoon with highs right around 68. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show. My name is Jason Hammer. Big Nige is here.
Hello.
And again, crazy time in the news cycle. A lot of people are laughing. A lot of people are smiling today. But then there are some other folks that are blaming those people. We'll get into that here in just a moment. Let's go to the hotline and bring on one of the best, one of our favorites, Riley Gaines of Outkick. You can check out the Gaines for Girls podcast at Outkick. Riley, thank you so much for taking the time today. And $1 million question, what did you think about last night?
Well, I'm always thrilled to be on with you guys, so thank you so much.
Nice.
Look, I mean, first of all, last night I got to watch the live coverage of the election, downtown Nashville, Kid Rock's bar, doing some stuff there with Fox and with Outkick. It was great. Of course, the crowd was, I mean, surging, the energy, the patriotism. It was amazing. So that was wonderful in my own personal experience. But I will tell you, this feels like, I mean, it is actually. It's the red wave that I expected in 2022 that we didn't get. I think looking at last night's results, of course, in terms of the President Trump winning the Electoral College, the popular vote, keeping control of the House, gaining control of the Senate. What this looks like to me is the American people rejecting absurdity and embracing Donald Trump. So I feel great. I didn't know, going into this election, I mean, this is what I expected. But I didn't know if I was being naive about it. And so I'm just thrilled. It feels like, again, personally, 2.5 years of hard work paid off. So could not be more excited.
And you're right. Looking back at it here, hindsight being 2020, it was a nation that decided we're not going to get on board with this ridiculous crap anymore. I think people of, common sense can understand that's what happened. But this brings us to folks that do not have that, Riley. MSNBC's Joy Reid, the awful women at The View, they are blaming white women specifically for Kamala Harris's loss. So, Riley Gaines, how can you sleep with yourself at night knowing that you've upset the women of The View and Joy Reid?
Well, isn't it hilarious that they're blaming women when that's been their whole campaign strategy, is this whole push for women? I mean, really, if you think back from the beginning, from when Kamala didn't even really announce her candidacy when she was, when she was undemocratically, the most undemocratic way, announced the candidate. I mean, really the only policy from the beginning that she put forth confidently and emphatically and with passion was what they label as reproductive rights or healthcare freedom, which is total BS considering where was this healthcare freedom in 2021 during COVID.
Right.
I mean, that's been their big push, is to these angry, abortion-obsessed female contingent. We've seen how they push men away. We've seen how they tried to get men back. We watched the White Dudes for Harris ad, which was abysmal. We saw
Right.
we saw this staged hunting trip by Tim Walz, who couldn't even seem to load a shotgun, which is a bit ironic considering he was in the National Guard, allegedly, but I digress. So, look, again, I believe they alienated themselves. Not to mention, you've got a Kamala Harris who's running pro-Israel ads in Pennsylvania, but pro-Gaza, pro-Palestine ads in Michigan. We see what she's doing with even just this week. She's acting like she's on the phone with a voter. Her camera app is pulled up. I mean, she's just a manufactured candidate running a manufactured campaign, and the American people, we saw through that.
Riley, do you have friends on the other side that are genuinely afraid and scared? Like, I have good friends, and I'm watching their wives post things, and I would never respond to any of these posts. I would never out them by name, but I'm seeing things like, here comes the hate and divide all over again. When I wake up and worried about what's going to be on the news, like when for the past 4 years, Trump supporters have been called Nazis. Donald Trump is, they tried to assassinate Donald Trump twice, and Democrats, for their crescendo, the big ending before the election, was calling him a Nazi. Do you have friends like that, that you kind of want to just take in and cuddle and say it's going to be okay, or do you just ignore that at all?
No, honestly, I do have people I follow on social media, friends. Yeah, friends. I don't know if I would call them friends anymore, but acquaintances in my life who are posting, talking about how hard their life is going to be and how they fear for their safety as a woman. I'm like, what are you fearful of? Affordable living? Lower crime, lower taxes, safe streets, world peace, free speech? Is that what you're so fearful of? And I just want to shake them and remind them, Donald Trump was already president for 4 years. He's already been president, and he didn't do any of the things that you're claiming he will do to you. Same thing. I mean, when we saw Oprah this week stand on stage in the most hyperbolic way and say that a Donald Trump presidency will mean we will never be able to cast a vote again. I'm watching this. I'm like, who's going to tell her that he was already president? And guess what we're doing right now? We're casting a vote again. I mean, these people are total. They're just entirely out of touch with reality. And quite frankly, it makes me mad as an American, knowing how fortunate we are to live in this country. These people who don't like it, guess what? Go somewhere else, especially those who are a part of the LGBTQ community, who claim that President Trump is going to take away their rights. Go try living as someone, a part of that community in Iran or Palestine, for that matter. Those two seem to go hand in hand. Go try living there and see what it's like for you.
Riley Gaines joining us. Gaines for Girls is the podcast. Awesome show. You can check it out on Outkick. Riley, I got to be honest. I tuned in to Morning Joe on MSNBC today.
Why?
Just because I needed to see those tears, right? It did my cold, dark heart justice watching them have to take back all the crap that they talked about for 4 years. But Joe Scarborough, Riley, said something, and you were the first person I thought of. So Morning Joe comes out there today, and he's ranting, raving, but says, quote,
85% of Americans oppose men transitioning after puberty and competing against women. And I'm not just saying this because it's the day after the election. So they're trying to do a little postpartum on what went wrong. And now all of a sudden, it took an ass beating in the election for Joe Scarborough to realize maybe dudes changing with chicks is a bad idea.
Yeah, they lose, and suddenly it's like common sense returns. Look, I mean, this is the trans issue as a whole, but especially the sports stuff. The medicalization side of things, of course, but the sports stuff, I think, really highlighted just the denial of reality that we are living through. It's been the sleeper issue. We saw how it affected, of course, the presidential election. We saw President Trump running the ad. I think it's the ad he ran the most, where he says, Kamala fights for they, them. I will fight for you. That ad ran incessantly, nonstop. But even how it affected these key Senate races, right? You have people like Bob Casey, for example, Colin Allred of Texas, who has voted 4 times, I believe, in favor of putting men in women's sports. And then he stands on the debate stage and says, look, I'm a father, I'm a Christian. I would never support these ridiculous ideas. And notice, too, Kamala Harris desperately, and actually she got away with it, she desperately tried to run from her voting record on all things gender ideology. Of the 4 national debates, it didn't get brought up once. And so, of course, by design. And so for this to be, pretty pivotal, I would say, in voter turnout, getting women especially, those who would even call themselves lifelong liberals, women, moms who have daughters who play sports, getting them to become single-issue voters, it was huge. And so, to watch Joe this morning, it's pretty funny because the sentence before, accurately claiming, actually, I believe the number's higher, 85% of Americans don't agree with this. He said the Democrats have handled this entire topic incredibly stupid, which we knew. I knew.
Right.
You knew it.
Right.
Most people did.
Riley, last thing here before we let you go. I was watching the coverage last night, and I saw Fox was there, at the Kid Rock honky tonk there on Broadway in Nashville. Been there many times. Seemed like the crowd was having a good time. What was the vibe inside that place? And take me through what happened as the night went on, and it started to get a little bit more obvious about what would happen.
Yeah, it did. By the time I came out, so coverage started in the 7 p.m. hour. By the time I came on in the 8 p.m. hour, of course, drinks had been flowing for people. But every time,
it seemed like Clay Travis may have had a few cocktails last night, Riley.
Clay
some point.
Travis was
no problem with that at all, though.
No, he was cracking me up. Yeah, he had definitely had a few on camera and even more off camera. But it was awesome because every time, of course, they've got the TVs going, and every time another state was confirmed for President Trump, these electoral votes were running in. The crowd, the room, I couldn't hear, actually, when Pete Hegseth was asking me questions. I just had to start saying words and hope that I was answering the question. I couldn't hear his question at all. I'm like, I'm just going to start talking about Mark Cuban. That always seems to do good.
Right. You can never go wrong when you start ripping on Cuban. That's fine.
Yeah, him and Keith Olbermann, and you're safe.
Well, Riley, great stuff last night. Yes. And again, where can we get the Gains for Girls podcast, and tell us about it?
You can check out all things Gains for Girls at Outkick.com. Make sure you can like and subscribe and that kind of thing. Share the episodes with your favorite liberals. You can follow me on X. It's Riley_Gains_. Again, always a joy to be on with you guys. So thank you for everything that you've done. For me personally, for the movement, and I think that was evident last night and how effective you guys are. So thank you.
You got it. Thank you so much. Riley Gaines, one of the best. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Have you heard the saying, cash is king? This is true most of the time, but it's not when you're retired.
Hey, this is Rob.
And this is Casey.
When you're retired, cash is not king. Income is king.
Discover how you could turn your savings into a guaranteed stream of income in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000, call Bill right now at 317-932-9912.
Social Security alone won't be enough to pay for your retirement. You need to create other sources of income that you can count on for the rest of your life.
Call Bill Demery now at 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
If your loved one has stopped seeing friends because hearing loss prevents the use of the telephone, please help them by visiting RelayIndiana.com. RelayIndiana.com provides captioned telephones that allow the hard of hearing to have phone conversations through voice recognition technology. The other person's words appear on an easy-to-read screen. Help your loved one stay in touch with their family and friends by getting them the CapTel caption telephone from Relay Indiana. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you worried your furnace isn't ready? Fear not at B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical. Visit B+W.com/radio where your comfort is their priority. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
B's offering our Black Friday sale. 52% off plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months no interest, no payments.
Tailgate this Sunday from 10 to 1 at the parking lot at McCarty and Church Street before the Colts-Bills game, presented by Jack Daniels and Twin Peaks. Register to win tickets to the game and $100 in Colts cash from Bud Light. No purchase necessary.
All right, Kamala Harris is en route to deliver the concession speech. If she gets up there on the stage and we're on the air, we'll bring you a little bit of Kamala Harris riding off into the sunset, so to speak. Also, we talked about this earlier, the new Hammer and Nigel show shirts, including the He's Back Terminator-style Donald Trump shirt. I've got it posted on our Twitter and Facebook. Just look for Hammer and Nigel. Matt Bear.
Thanks, Hammer.
I'm sorry. It's Alan Green. Alan Green. I'm so sorry.
Quite all right. 65 southbound is stacking up now between 29th and Meridian. 465 eastbound heavy Keystone to Allisonville. And on the south side, a delay from Man to Harding. And the southbound collector seeing some brake lights from Ohio to about Fletcher. This report brought to you by B Window. Don't miss the annual B Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% off all products, plus 10% in manufacturer's rebates and no payments, no interest for 20 months. Now proud to be employee-owned. Visit bwindow.com for details. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Damn right, that's Alan Green. Mean Alan Green in for Matt Baer today.
Come on.
68 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Well, we're coming to your city.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Yeah, live Hammer and Nigel Road Show this Tuesday at the Indiana Farm Bureau Fall Creek Pavilion.
Tuesday.
Indiana State Fair.
Woo!
The World Food Championships, the culmination of days of competition, one of the most prestigious culinary competitions in the world, happening starting this Saturday. You and I will be there for the end on Tuesday for all the awards and everything. It's easy to get into.
Super cheap.
It's not expensive.
Right.
WorldFoodChampionships.com.
Just go for the smells, man. Like, just smelling all of that amazing food. It's so good. We've had some of those chefs bring some food up here in the studio, man, and it's going to be amazing. There's a kid zone for the little ones.
If you're a foodie, if you're somebody that owns a food truck that wants ideas, if you just are a fledgling chef, if you like food.
Right. If you're a guy like me that just wants to get some food in your belly, they are all going to be there. Some of the best food in the world. Whatever you're into, I'm sure you're going to find it there. The World Food Championships. Get your tickets, worldfoodchampionships.com. So Amazon is now going to start delivering certain products in the Phoenix, Arizona area, Nige, via drone.
Haven't we heard this? They said they were going to start doing this?
They did a test run in California, and I guess it went well. So now in the Phoenix metro area, Amazon says products that weigh 5 pounds or less are eligible to be delivered via drone.
Okay. So if you need like some underarm deodorant or something like that.
You good with a drone just dropping a bomb on your house, Nige? Because that's what it's going to happen here.
I would like to see what that looks like. It's like they're not going to be 25 feet up high and just release the claws of the drone and just let it fall.
How do you know they're not?
It just doesn't seem
when the
plausible
robots
to me.
take over, Nige, they're going to kill us all. And instead of putting deodorant in there, it's going to be grenades.
Okay.
They're dropping grenades on our house,
Fair enough.
left and right. AI will take over, and it will be a full-on invasion led by Amazon drones. I've seen it in movies a million times. I just don't know if I feel comfortable having a device like be dropped on my house like a bomb. I don't know about that. All right. Again, keeping our eye on the news. Howard University in Washington is the location. Kamala Harris is going to get up there, say she got her ass whipped, and move on. When she does that, we will bring that to you here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. Don't go anywhere. We are rocking this party all afternoon. Follow us on social media at Hammer and Nigel and jump in the YouTube chat. We'll be back 4:06.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings, I'm telling you, these guys are the best. I needed a new coating over my old, unmaintained, cracked, dirty garage floor. And Galaxy Concrete Coatings came in little as a day, gave me something 4 times as stronger. It's a gritty surface. It's not slippery. So easy to clean. And the best part is it's not epoxy, which is like the old stuff the other guys use. It's way better. They use polyurea, the new premium standard for coatings. Lifetime warranty. And I'm having them back out to the house to come into my basement to have a look at the concrete floor in my furnace room. Check out their website, see some pictures, get a quote, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call them 751-9070.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good? Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet and Security Edge plus Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Unlimited Mobile. And ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
Holidays will be here before we know it. Maybe you've already started shopping for someone on your list. AAA Hoosier Motor Club inviting you to join them, help make sure some local kids in need get gifts through the Toys for Tots program. AAA giving you the chance to send a holiday message of hope to Central Indy's less fortunate kids.
And as a thank you for donating to Toys for Tots, current AAA members will receive 25% off any merchandise in the travel store or adding someone to your AAA membership featuring their fabulous 24/7, 365 days a year roadside assistance for just $25. And non-members who donate will have the opportunity for early access to a special holiday offer, a classic AAA membership for just $50. Help local children in need this holiday season and secure your peace of mind with a AAA membership. Donate to Toys for Tots at AAA. Visit AAA.com or find the AAA store near you.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Owner Danny Reinhardt's son Kevin says one simple saying from his dad affects him every day at work.
Especially when you go out and do sales and service calls and collect money and do all this stuff that's important to a lot of people. He always said the number one thing I remember from him is just fair and honest wins every time.
You can trust Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, 317-745-4526. Reinhardt Heating and Cooling is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Your local news coming up in 2 minutes after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. The vice president concedes. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. In a phone call to President-elect Trump, she's scheduled to make a public statement at this hour at Washington's Howard University.
It is unclear what kind of tone we're going to get from the vice president. The party is soul-searching right now. We've been getting some very frank assessments from high-ranking sources within the party, trying to basically do the autopsy, figure out what went wrong. They are acknowledging that the party right now is out of step with the majority of Americans.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. President Biden has also called the president-elect to invite him to the White House for a transition meeting.
Still nothing on camera from President Biden. They're telling us here at the White House he will come out and talk about Harris's loss and a peaceful transfer of power tomorrow.
Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House. As he did in 2016, Mr. Trump toppled the so-called blue wall.
Fox News has called the state of Michigan for former President Trump. This day completes the Trump campaign's push to flip the blue wall trifecta of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. States President-elect Trump won in 2016, but lost in 2020 to President Biden.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz, but Democratic Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin has won Michigan's open U.S. Senate seat, beating former Republican Congressman Mike Rogers. And Wisconsin's Tammy Baldwin has been reelected in a close race with Republican challenger Eric Hovde. They're still counting the votes in two remaining battleground states, Arizona and Nevada. While the GOP will retake control of the Senate, it may take days until control of the House is sorted out. Special counsel Jack Smith is reported to be deciding how to wind down his federal cases against the president-elect. The Justice Department's policy is not to prosecute sitting presidents. Wall Street at the close, the Dow gaining 1,508 points. Nasdaq up 544, the S&P 500 adding 146. America's listening to Fox News.
Official message. 93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It never hurts to be prepared. 68 degrees, mostly cloudy over the circle. Nothing to worry about on your radar tonight. Slow drops to 47. I'm Harrison Silcox from Moss Roofing. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Thousands of pounds of salt are ready in case of a rough winter in Indianapolis, as Mayor Joe Hogg said.
Our Department of Public Works is always equipped to tackle whatever comes our way, weather-wise or otherwise.
Hogsett says there's 7 barns around Indianapolis stocked with over 18,000 tons of salt. Those are all managed by the city's Department of Public Works. A shooting at an Indianapolis apartment on Sunday led to the FBI to searching 2 homes.
They're called the FBI's Safe Streets Task Force, and they only search for the worst of the worst when it comes to criminal activity. On Monday, people along West 30th Street heard flashbangs and doors being kicked in as cops were trying to tie up the loose ends from an investigation that started not far away from where those raids took place a day before. Someone was shot, and court documents say it has a lot to do with drug dealing in that part of the city. A woman named Tanisha Turner was arrested. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's fate could be decided by the end of this week. Here's Donnie Burgess.
The defense kicked off court Wednesday morning by resting its case. Allen's attorneys have spent the last few days challenging the credibility of Allen's confessions, the ballistics info, and the state's timeline of the murders. The state had 3 more witnesses testify today, including Dr. John Martin, who spoke to Allen's psychosis and his eventual recovery. Closing arguments begin Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. Each side gets up to 2.5 hours, and then it's up to the jury. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
As Mike Braun gets ready to be the next governor of Indiana, he'll be looking at how each agency in the state operates.
I've had tips and cues for a long time from legislators that think this agency needs improvement, that one needs improvement. This one's running well.
Braun said this morning he'll be looking closely at each agency before he makes any big changes. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds. It's 4:04.
It's starting to be fall in Indiana, the perfect time to tackle home projects you've been putting off before winter arrives. With Moss Roofing by your side, you don't have to do it alone. They're ready to assist with your roofing and siding needs, ensuring your home is safe and ready for the holidays. Let Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, give your home a serious glow up with premium James Hardy siding, tough enough to face Indiana's wild weather and stylish enough to turn heads on your block. And the best part, their free inspections come with a 3D design preview so you could see your home's stunning makeover before the work begins. Contact Moss Roofing for a job done right every single time at Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, or call 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 317-747-3665. That's 747-3665. Or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com. And don't forget, tell them Tony Katz sent you.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Baer.
Hey, thank you, Harrison.
Alan Green, sorry about that.
Got it. 86 at Purdue, we've got a crash. 65 southbound jams up between 29th and Meridian. 465 southbound slows from Washington to Brookville. 465 eastbound is tight from Westfield to Allisonville, and on the south side, a little bit of a delay from Man to Harding. This report brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is a trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thank you, Alan. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
This Wednesday evening, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, low temperatures in the mid-40s, and a breeze out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high temperature around 61 in the afternoon hours. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's rock it!
The Hammer, the defense, is rested in the Delphi trial, surprising many people earlier today. More on that coming up at 5:06 with Donnie Burgess and defense attorney Guy Relford for today's update a little bit after 5 o'clock.
Yeah, they're going to come in here at 5 because I don't think a lot of people were ready for the defense team to say, we rest. So now all eyes are on Delphi. We're going to have some closing arguments. We're going to get a timeline. Hopefully, Guy and Donnie will be in here in about an hour, and they're going to get us up to date. Now, we are keeping our eye on Howard University. That is where one Kamala Harris will be giving her concession speech. She is scheduled to be up on that stage at any time. But then again, she was supposed to be there last night, too.
She did. She did call Donald Trump earlier today and concede. And, yeah, she was supposed to be there last night after they called her for Donald Trump. And her spokesman got out there on stage. Yeah, she ain't coming. And they all started booing.
She got booed in her own college. Now, they had been out there for like 8 hours.
I know.
9 hours.
Yeah. I think you deserve an explanation either way, or at least an acknowledgement that you've been spending time out there. And she's like, I'm not going out there.
I mean, that's what Hillrod did back in 16, though. Old Pantsuit Patty told all those people to get bent and tell Katy Perry to go home. No glass ceiling concert tonight.
I feel like Pantsuit Patty's a great nickname, but I can't. It can't be exclusive to Hillary Clinton. I mean, Kamala Harris rocked a pantsuit, didn't she?
She did.
A mean pantsuit.
A mean pants. Easy there, Willie Brown. Yes, she did. She did. And there are other nicknames you could give Hillary, Killery for one, Hillrod, Emailery. Any one of those would work as well. We were talking during the commercial break, waiting for Kamala Harris to come out here. We expect her to give the concession speech, but what if she went full Leo from Wolf of Wall Street?
Jordan Wolf, yeah. Yeah, I'm not effing leaving.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not going anywhere.
Or like,
oh my God,
all of the jailed illegals come running out of the halls of Howard University.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to let him be the president come January, but all of these folks, we're getting them set up with residencies in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan. No more swing states for you, buckaroo. So we'll see what happens here, man.
I got an email from Jim. Earlier we were talking about, like in my mind now, it's like, what kind of shenanigans are the Democrats going to try to pull between now and Trump's inauguration? Jim wrote us this. You were wondering what else Brandon and company could do between now and the inauguration? How about pardoning 20 million illegals? Thought gives me chills. I don't know if he could do that or not. I don't know if that's possible.
But they can ramp up the, quote, migrant flights, the secret, although not so secret migrant flights that take people from other countries and just drop them off in places that may or may not be swing states. Because that was the big fear, right? That if Kamala Harris or Joe Biden wins this thing again, the border will remain wide open and they will bus or fly these people to swing states, load them up, get them one of those visas to where they could vote, and next thing you know, no more swing states.
Senator Fetterman admitted as much on the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if you saw that clip, but Rogan was grilling him. He's like, hey, look, like one of the problems is the border is wide open. They're flying these illegal immigrants into swing states, and eventually the idea is to give them amnesty, and they're going to vote. And it's all going to be, every state's going to be like California. He didn't really have an answer for that.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like, I know everybody that is a Trump supporter or somebody that just hates what's happening to the country over the last 4 years is excited right now. But it's a long time between now and January 20th. Okay? So in addition to the Democrats maybe getting squirrely, get ready, Bal, because here comes Iran. Here comes China. Here comes Russia. They know they've got a window here, a small window to pull some bullcrap with an administration that's horrible on foreign policy. Somebody that is not going to put them in their place like Donald Trump did back when he was the president. But one thing that did cross my mind today, Nige.
Yes.
What do you think Joe Biden's thinking?
He's not thinking. He doesn't have the capacity to think.
Well, okay, good point. I stand corrected. But a person in his position, they publicly embarrassed you. They humiliated you. They fired you after a debate.
Oh.
And now the person that took your spot got their backside handed to him. Lost the
really
popular
did.
vote.
Yeah, really did.
So I started thinking about it, and what would Joe Biden have to say if he could think for himself?
Okay.
Now, Joe Biden's not going to come on this show, but thanks to technology, we've got AI Joe Biden here to respond to the beatdown the Democrats took last night.
What the hell was that? You fired me and humiliated me so that Kamala could get beat more than the Colts on a primetime game? I could have done that. She even lost the popular vote. Last election, I hid in my basement, pooped my pants 3 times a day, sniffed children's hair, and got 81 million votes. This moron was actually campaigning and lost in a landslide. I hope the orange man locks all these Democrats that screwed me up in a cage at the border. Screw Pelosi, screw Kamala Harris, and screw the D and C. Now, if you will excuse me, someone just put pudding in my underwear, and it's time for me to go talk to the toaster for 5 minutes. Biden out.
That's AI Joe Biden sharing his thoughts on the election here.
Pretty accurate.
MSNBC's Simone Sanders. She may be the only person on that network that is actually blaming the Democrats, because Morning Joe and Joy Reid and the girl with the extremely red hair, they are blaming everybody else but Kamala and themselves. But Simone Sanders, who used to be a Spock for Joe Biden, she brought a little honesty.
I do have an indictment of some of the strategy. And again, the people that said Joe Biden was the problem.
He was not the solution. He was not the solution.
I will just note that it is probably not the best idea that Democrats orchestrated a very public stab fest, a proverbial stabbing in the front of the sitting president of the United States of America, and then didn't use him in his hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh. Ooh. So did she say stab fest? Did I understand that? Did I understand that? I'm not sure if I heard that word correctly, but what she's implying is a soft coup, removing Joe Biden, forcing him out, and then publicly installing somebody that nobody voted for.
Somebody that had likability polling less than Joe Biden. Like, do you think Joe Biden would have lost by that margin last night? Would he have lost pretty much every swing state and the popular vote?
I think he would have lost, but I don't know if it would have been a butt whipping as such as it was with Kamala Harris.
And the other thing that I noticed in that clip with Simone Sanders there, like the other panelist up there, oh, no. Like, it's okay to look in the mirror and say, we screwed up. But they can't do that. And that's why I said earlier, and I'll double down here, the other big loser last night, in addition to Kamala and the Dems, was legacy national media. Because they know they don't have the pull they used to. They tried to lie to you right to your face. They tried to tell you you're not seeing what you're seeing, and people didn't buy it. They used to, but now they don't, because there are options. There are podcasts, Joe Rogan, and all these other guys, Theo Vaughn, you name it. There are options out there. Tucker Carlson's got his own thing going on. So legacy media took a big shot last night, and Scott Jennings, who was on CNN. I like him when he's on CNN. I think he's pretty good.
He's really good. He's been on there for a number of years now. He's the Republican.
Right. They have a real Republican on CNN.
And not token Republican, but like a real guy.
MSNBC puts up their Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney.
I know.
But no, Scott Jennings, he lays it out for the Democrats and legacy media.
I'm interpreting the results tonight as the revenge of just a regular old working class American, the anonymous American who has been crushed, insulted, condescended to. They're not garbage. They're not Nazis. They're just regular people who get up and go to work every day and are trying to make a better life for their kids, and they feel like they have been told to just shut up when they have complained about the things that are hurting them in their own lives. I also feel like this election, as we sit here and pour over this tonight, is something of an indictment of the political information complex. I mean, we've been sitting around here for the last couple of weeks, and the story that was portrayed was not true. I mean, we were told Puerto Rico was going to change the election. Liz Cheney, Nikki Haley voters, women lying to their husbands. Before that, it was Tim Walz and the camo hats. Night after night after night, we were told all these things and gimmicks were going to somehow push Harris over the line. And we were just ignoring the fundamentals. Inflation, people feeling like that they were barely able to tread water at best. Right. That was the fundamentals of the election. And so I think that both parties should always look at the results of an election and figure out what went right and what went wrong. But I think for all of us who cover elections and talk about elections and do this on a day-to-day basis, we have to figure out how to understand, talk to, and listen to the half of the country that rose up tonight and said, we've had enough.
It's a lot nicer than I would have been.
Right.
Bunch of morons.
Alan Green is filling in for Matt Bear.
Thanks, Hammer. 86 at Purdue, there's a crash. 465 southbound is heavy now from Sam Jones to Hannah. 65 southbound hits the brakes between 29th and Meridian. And the southbound collector is stacking up between the North Split and about Fletcher. This report brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. They run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
68 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Again, waiting for Kamala Harris to deliver her concession speech. When that happens, we'll try to bring it to you here on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Lovebirds, you're in for a treat. With your holiday proposal just around the corner, Shane Company is here to help you create your dream engagement ring. This is your moment. Let's make it magical. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've helped tons of couples find a beautiful engagement ring for a price that works with their budget. We've always sourced diamonds directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. At Shane Company, we have the widest selection of ring settings and center stones, in stock and ready to compare side by side. It's so easy. Choose a look that brings your vision to life. From classic styles to modern designs, we have them all. Then pick out a natural or lab-grown diamond, a sapphire in your favorite color, or a vibrant gemstone like ruby or amethyst. With our everyday competitive prices and free lifetime warranty, your forever after is safe with us. Visit shaneco.com and come see us in store. We've got your dream ring and fine jewelry gifts for everyone on your list. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, with leading-edge treatment options right in your backyard.
I feel blessed and lucky. If I knew someone that was going through what I was going through, I would definitely encourage them to participate in a clinical trial. For me, it was life-changing.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Miss M's Home and Garden and Sundown Gardens fall sale is still on. 30 to 50% off all trees and shrubs in stock. It's a great time to finish up your landscape for next year, and if you're ready to start interior holiday decorating, they have you covered. Stop in and shop those stunning displays filled with the best quality Christmas decor. Holiday open houses are coming the weekend before Thanksgiving. Miss M's in Bargersville on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You need better water. You just can't find anybody better than the pros at C&J. Great systems, great people too. Call C&J at 317-733-SOFT.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Real quick, shout out to Johnny Devlin on Twitter. Says he loves us, listens to us every day. His life can't move forward unless he hears the Hammer and Nigel show.
Okay.
So thank you, Johnny Devlin. Didn't quite say that, but something very similar. All right, Nige, is this anything? The owners of a...
I'm looking at it right now.
Is this anything?
Go ahead.
The owners of a nail salon in Missouri have been cleaning up after a 4-point buck crashed through the front window and destroyed the place. There's a video of the police helping it out a side door after they trapped it in a back room.
Since when did we become deer wranglers? Ooh, I think he's ready too. All right, well, swing that thing. 2, 1, go. Come on, man. There we go.
You know what sucks is it caused $14,000 worth of damage, and the insurance policy doesn't cover damage caused by animals, which is a complete
That
load
sucks.
of crap. What a bunch of scammers.
Man, insurance companies can be
are.
pretty shady.
Like, insurance is for crap that happens that you don't think is going to happen, right?
Hey, speaking of crap, let's go to Howard University, where Kamala Harris is about to give her concession speech. Live coverage from Washington and Howard University here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. She is walking up to the podium, waving.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Nigel.
Thank you all. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. And I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today. My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting. To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much. To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials, I thank you all. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran, and the way we ran it, Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country, with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States.
Tell me more about the open border, Kamala.
And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence.
Then close the border.
And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld.
Your party called us Nazis for 4 years.
And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect.
They want to shut down
by
the public square.
In the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve.
You called us fascists for 4 years.
This is
will take hard work. But like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work.
You were handed the nomination.
Work.
You didn't work hard for it.
And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it.
You didn't get a single primary vote.
To the young people who are watching, it is... To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
She was the first one to drop out in 2020. First one, I believe.
You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career, I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives.
And threw him right in jail.
People who had suffered great harm and great pain, and yet found within themselves the strength and the courage and the resolve to take the stand, to take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge. And I'll close with this.
Please.
There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, But for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars.
Come on, no, unburdened by what has been.
Light.
Come on.
Give us an unburdened.
The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service.
Children of the community?
Give us one.
Come on, something.
HU. And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary
Are we going to
promise
news? I can't do this.
of the United States
We've
of
come
America.
this far.
I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
All right, so you've been listening to Kamala Harris. She says there will be a peaceful transition of power and all the right things, and then there's a lot of inaccuracies in that speech, shall we say, but it's pretty much your concession speech. You thank everybody, you know, you're not going away, keep the good fight up, blah, blah, blah. Now, here with the response, Nige,
Yes.
is President-elect Donald Trump. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
And I promise you this, above all else, I'm going to be more obnoxious, more overbearing, and I'm going to make you all learn to love it because you'll have no choice.
And on the count of three, give me a Ric Flair woo. 1, 2, 3. Woo! It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Rain is likely in your future. 66 degrees, partly cloudy in downtown Indianapolis. There's no rain on your radar at the moment. Tonight's low drops to 47. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 438. You'll want to make sure those headlights on your car are working properly.
So watch out, especially if you're in the Lafayette to Kokomo regions or the Bloomington to Columbus regions. Tonight we might see some patchy fog. So on your morning commute tomorrow, just be alert and make sure you take a little bit extra time.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service. While the weather's going to stay dry, in the meantime, rain is likely this weekend in several parts of the state. The defense has rested its case in the Delphi murders trial. Suspect Richard Allen has also chosen not to testify. Closing arguments are up next. Those are going to be tomorrow. Each side's going to get a little bit over 2 hours, and then the jury will deliberate. We'll see what they have to say. Today's the 17th day in that trial in Carroll County. President Joe Biden's now spoken with both Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. Here's Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The White House says President Biden congratulated Vice President Harris on her campaign and congratulated President-elect Trump on his victory. The president expressed his commitment to, quote, ensuring a smooth transition and emphasized the importance of working to bring the country together. President-elect Trump was also invited to meet with President Biden in the White House, and the commander-in-chief is scheduled to discuss the election results and transition when he addresses the nation tomorrow. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
You also did hear Kamala Harris's concession speech just a little bit ago as Hammer and Nigel picked that up live. Will Mike Braun make any budget cuts to state agencies when he becomes the state's next governor in January? Well, he talked about that this morning.
If there's an agency that's working well, just because it's been part of something else, you'd be silly to do something with it. But I'll look at each one critically.
Braun says he wants to focus on being financially sound in all areas that he oversees as governor. Thousands of pounds of salt are ready in case of a rough winter in Indianapolis, says Mayor Joe Hogsett.
Our Department of Public Works is always equipped to tackle whatever comes our way, weather-wise or otherwise.
Hogsett says 7 barns around the city are stocked with over 18,000 tons of salt. It's all managed by the Department of Public Works. And a big day in the market following the presidential election. The Dow up by more than 1,500 points, closing today at 43,729. The NASDAQ up by 544 to 18,983. The S&P 500 increasing by 146 to close at 5,929. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 440.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
With traffic at 441, here's Alan Green.
Thanks, Harrison. 465 eastbound jams up from Meridian to Allisonville. Southbound 465 is heavy on the west side from Sam Jones Expressway to Hannah. 65 southbound breaks between 29th and the North Split. And 70 eastbound from the North Split to Sherman. Look for some delays there. This report brought to you by B-Window. Don't miss the annual B-Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% off all products, plus 10% in manufacturer's rebates and no payments, no interest for 20 months. Now proud to be employee-owned. Visit bwindow.com for details. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
This Wednesday evening, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, low temperatures in the mid-40s, and a breeze out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high temperature around 61 in the afternoon hours. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsudis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
All right. You heard Kamala Harris deliver her concession speech a little bit earlier.
It honestly wasn't that bad.
It wasn't.
I mean, it was fine.
I had fun, though, pointing out some of the issues with it. Like, they love the fact check, right? The political left. They love a good fact check.
Sure.
From Muir to those awful women at CBS, they love a good fact check. So we thought we'd give them a little dose of their own medicine here. Do us a favor and hit like on our YouTube. Our show is streaming live on YouTube. Look for WIBC's channel. We need 15 more people to hit like, hit that thumbs up to get us to 100. I got to be honest. Watching the coverage of MSNBC melting down has been a real joy for me. Maybe that makes me the bad guy. I don't know. But
you're so awful.
I've enjoyed watching the meltdowns. And nobody has melted down more than Joy Reid.
Oh, race lady.
You know Joy Reid, right?
Yeah.
She looks like Wesley Snipes' character in Demolition Man. She was on last night. She was on a roll. It was one thing after the other, saying ridiculous crap with nothing to back it up. Here's a little bit of Joy Reid last night.
You just think about just the last 2 weeks and the things that Donald Trump has said into the TV that people could hear him say and do, the vulgarity in front of families with young children and the threats to do mass deportation and a violent start to his dictatorship on day one. And you name it. If all of that gets you half of the votes,
48, 49%.
What does it tell you? I mean, we need to really take a step back and think about what does that say about us?
I think
she wasn't specific. She wasn't pointing out anything that we didn't already know about in terms of, deporting people that are here illegally that have committed heinous crimes. And talk about rhetoric. I mean, they tried to kill this guy, and their closing argument was, in terms of the Democrats and their response and their message towards the Republicans, was he's Hitler and his supporters are garbage. Nice try, Joy.
That didn't even work with Democrats. We spoke to Michael Rappaport, the comedian actor on our show.
Yeah.
He is not the type of guy that's going to put on a MAGA hat, to put it mildly. But even he was like, this is ridiculous. Open up a history book. The only person you should be calling Hitler is Hitler. So the crazy race lady was freaking out. And then this morning, Joe Scarborough says that Kamala Harris lost because Donald Trump, he got those sexist, blacks and Latinos, those racist blacks and Latinos to vote for him.
And I just say, Rev, really quickly, too, Democrats need to be mature, and they need to be honest. And they need to say, yes, there's misogyny. But it's not just misogyny from white men. Mm-hmm. It's misogyny from Hispanic men. Right. It's misogyny from black men, things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them. Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States. You know, the Democratic Party, I've always found when you're sitting around talking, they love to just sort of balkanize everybody into these separate groups and say, oh, white people don't like women and black people. No, it is time for the Democrats to say, okay, and you and I have talked about this before, a lot of Hispanic voters have problems with black candidates.
Folksy racism from Morning Joe this morning.
There it is. The Hispanics don't like the blacks. Okay.
It's everybody's fault but Kamala and the Dems. So listen, let's put a little bow on this segment here.
Please.
If you've been waiting for this, this is your reward. When somebody loses or goes away on this program, we have an emotional Sarah McLachlan-style tribute for them.
My.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the tribute for Kamala Harris.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation. Do you ban plastic straws? I think we should.
Good God.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
There it is.
You know?
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
Oh, very clear.
When we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community.
Children of the community.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Guys, if you're often feeling tired, lack of motivation and drive, you gain some weight, maybe some loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low T. Don't wait to find out. At Low T Center, they make it easy to get your testosterone levels checked. It's just a simple test. With their on-site lab, you'll get the results back right there. Low T is not a typical doctor's office. Their physicians specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, for each patient.
For established patients, you get the convenience of physician-monitored at-home treatments that ship directly to your home. So you don't have to get in your car and drive to the Low T Center. It comes right to your house. And the Low T Center really is your one-stop shop for all things men's health. You could also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription weight loss medications. That is something that Low T Center does. So book your appointment today. LowTCenter.com. That's LowTCenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet and Security Edge plus Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Unlimited Mobile. And ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
Listen to what Dee and Andrew in Noblesville had to say about my man, Mark Dietel, the only real estate expert I would trust with the sale of my home. Dee and Andrew write, we were done with the rat race and ready to live the dream of buying a camper and traveling west. We needed top cash from our home to make the dream work. Thankfully, we hired Mark Dietel, who delivered big time. Our home sold for our asking price in just 4 days on the market.
Mark Dietel is the only real estate agent that we trust and recommend here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. And it's because of the guarantee. The guarantee is a game changer. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietel today, 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com.
Have you heard the saying, cash is king? This is true most of the time, but it's not when you're retired.
Hey, this is Rob.
And this is Casey.
When you're retired, cash is not king. Income is king.
Discover how you could turn your savings into a guaranteed stream of income in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000, call Bill right now at 317-932-9912.
Social Security alone won't be enough to pay for your retirement. You need to create other sources of income that you can count on for the rest of your life.
Call Bill Demery now at 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Dropping temperatures? B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical has you covered. Visit bplusw.com/radio today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
B's offering our Black Friday sale, 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Join Tony Katz and Fingers Malloy for a live Eat, Drink, Smoke show at Nikki Blaine's Cocktail Lounge on Saturday, November 9th from 4 to 6 p.m., courtesy of Hotel Tango Distillery.
More info online at WIBC.com.
All right. Matt Baer is out and Alan Green is in.
Thanks, Hammer. On 70 eastbound, a big backup from Harding to the South Split. 465 northbound is tight from Shadeland to 71st. Southbound hits the brakes between 70 and Brookville. Eastbound heavy from Michigan to Ditch and from Kentucky to Harding on the south side. This report brought to you by B-Window. Don't miss the annual B-Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% off all products, plus 10% in manufacturer's rebates, and no payments, no interest for 20 months. Now proud to be employee-owned. Visit bwindow.com for details. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
64 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Man, another big story, non-election related, is that the defense rests in the Delphi trial. So the state and the defense have both rested.
Kind of unexpected today.
Right. So we're going to break this down when we come back. We're going to get Donnie Burgess from the WIBC newsroom in here, Guy Relford in here, the best Delphi coverage in Indy, and then we'll talk some more election with Tony Kennett after that. Don't go anywhere. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
As the leaves turn golden and the air grows crisp, there's something special brewing, something that captures the very essence of fall. Introducing Pumpkin Something, a smooth, spice-filled bourbon infused with the perfect mixture of allspice, pumpkin, clove, cinnamon, and ginger. It's the taste of autumn in a glass. A sip of warmth on a cool evening. Crafted with care and precision at Hotel Tango Distillery. Known for its commitment to quality and innovation, this new blend promises a unique tasting experience that celebrates the essence of fall. Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery is guaranteed to elevate any fall cocktail. Add it to your warm cider in the evening or to your fall lattes. You can do anything with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery. Available for a limited time only. Visit your local liquor store and bring home the taste of fall with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery, because autumn never tasted so good. Sip responsibly.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Bill Clontz Heating and Cooling. HVAC manager Chris Edwards says they're working hard for your business.
Our mission is to engineer an indoor comfort system that is unique to your home and personal preferences. Our highly trained technicians lead the way in customer satisfaction. Bill Clontz Heating and Cooling puts quality as the top priority.
BillClontz.com, CLONTZ, or 317-539-4916. Bill Clontz is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, Central Indiana's premier arms dealer. They have over 1,200 firearms in stock, the largest selection of used firearms in the area, from pre-Civil War to modern guns. Premier Arms has always put their customers ahead of their profits. They always have ammunition available when a customer buys a firearm. Everyone can find what they're looking for at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street. Find them online at premierarms.com. Premierarms.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
If you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. Darren Andrews, clinic director, is here to tell us more.
The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Grow your hair back today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your evaluation. 317-522-2995.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the defense has rested its case in the Delphi murders trial. Donnie Burgess reports what Governor-elect Mike Braun wants to do during his first days in office, and Indianapolis is already preparing for bad winter weather, just in case. That's all coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. Vice President Harris has conceded. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News, speaking to supporters a few minutes ago at Howard University in Washington.
Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
But she also added,
while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
She said sometimes the fight takes longer. President Biden has called both the vice president and the president-elect.
The White House says President Biden congratulated Vice President Harris on her campaign and congratulated President-elect Trump on his victory. The president expressed his commitment to, quote, ensuring a smooth transition and emphasized the importance of working to bring the country together. President-elect Trump was also invited to meet with President Biden in the White House, and the commander-in-chief is scheduled to discuss the election results and transition when he addresses the nation tomorrow.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. President-elect Trump declared the winner in Michigan earlier this afternoon, taking all 3 of the so-called blue wall states and at least 5 of the 7 battlegrounds. Nevada and Arizona still not called yet. Democrats have protected 2 Senate seats in close races, Wisconsin's Tammy Baldwin winning re-election in Wisconsin. And in Michigan, Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin has beaten former Congressman Mike Rogers to take the Senate seat from which Debbie Stabenow is retiring, but the GOP will take the majority in the upper chamber. Wall Street, all 3 indices setting new record closings today. The Dow closed 1,508 points higher. The Nasdaq gained 544. The S&P 500 up 146. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
The defense rests their case. 64 degrees, cloudy over the circle. No rain at your radar. Low temps tonight dropped to about 47. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. Closing arguments in the Delphi murders trial are coming Thursday. Here's Donnie Burgess.
The defense team representing Richard Allen caught everyone off guard Wednesday morning when they rested their case. The state had to scramble to bring in 3 more witnesses for quick rebuttal testimony. The state called psychiatrist Dr. John Martin, who testified to seeing Richard Allen in a state of psychosis for some time, but said Allen was better by the time he made one last confession. Each side will have up to 2.5 hours for closing arguments Thursday, and then it's up to the jury to decide Allen's fate. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Will Mike Braun make any budget cuts to state agencies and he becomes Indiana's governor in January? Well, he talked about that this morning.
If there's an agency that's working well, just because it's been part of something else, you'd be silly to do something with it. But I'll look at each one critically.
Braun said that he will focus on being financially sound in all areas that he oversees. He's sworn in the first month of next year. Thousands of pounds of salt are ready in case of a rough winter in Indianapolis, as Mayor Joe Hogg said.
Our Department of Public Works is always equipped to tackle whatever comes our way, weather-wise or otherwise.
Hogshead says 7 barns around the city are stocked with over 18,000 tons of salt. It's all managed by the Department of Public Works. And a recent study shows that Indiana is one of the cheapest states in which to visit a pediatrician. Here's Sasha Nixon.
According to Birth Injury Lawyers Group, Indiana is the 6th cheapest state on the list. On the other hand, Alaska is considered to be the most expensive. Bob Goldwater with Birth Injury Lawyers Group says having a sick child can be a worrying and stressful experience. The experience can be much more stressful with this added bill to pay. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Alan Green.
Thanks, Harrison. 465 eastbound slows up Kentucky to Harding. Northbound 465 is tight between 86th and the Dogleg. 465 southbound breaks between Sam Jones and Hannah. And 65 southbound jams up from White River Bridge into the North Split. 70 eastbound from Tibbs to the South Split is backed up. This report brought to you by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
This Wednesday evening, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, low temperatures in the mid-40s, and a breeze out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high temperature around 61 in the afternoon hours. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it! All right. Another day in the Delphi trial. Today, though, the defense rests. My name is Jason Hammer. Big Nige is here.
Hello.
We've got defense attorney, mainly specializing in 2A, but Guy Relford, you've done a number of cases that are not really gun-related as a defense attorney, correct?
A criminal defense attorney. My focus has been on Second Amendment issues, but hey, if you're a criminal defense attorney, that's what you are.
And we've got Donnie Burgess from the WIBC Newsroom, who is one of the selected reporters that gets to go into the court, into the trial, watch it with his own eyes, and also put notes together with the selected reporters and put it out to the media. Now, before we get into what happened earlier today, something that happened at the end of yesterday's show, Guy, I want to get your opinion on. So there was some dude sends us a message saying, your coverage is just so biased. You clearly want this guy to walk free. You know, he's guilty. I want what's right for the family. Rabble, rabble, rabble. I had a few drinks last night, Guy. I was watching the election coverage, so I start, fighting with this guy back and forth. And it comes down to this, like to put it in sports terms, right? Because we're all sports fans here. I'm a Colts fan, but I'm also the first one to rip the Colts when they look like crap, i.e. this past Sunday. I want whoever killed these young ladies to be brought to justice. But right now, the state's case, to me, looks like crap.
This is just somebody who doesn't understand the criminal justice system. The criminal justice system is that we're all presumed to be innocent, and unless the state can prove we're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, then we're not guilty. That's how the system works. And for some chucklehead to be out there on social media or otherwise saying, this guy's guilty, really, what piece of evidence do you have, just watching the media or otherwise, that this jury doesn't have or that we don't have from having Donnie Burgess, who's done the best coverage of this trial of anybody in the media anywhere.
Agreed.
He's in the courtroom. He's in the pool. He gets all the information. He comes right back here. He reports it to us, and we give our honest opinion of what that evidence shows. And if you know somehow more than we do, more than Donnie does, more than we do, and somehow you know this guy's guilty, I'd love for you to show up in the courtroom one day and say you want to testify. Other than that, shut the hell up.
So, Donnie Burgess.
There we go.
Let's get into what transpired earlier today. The big headline is the defense rests. How do we get to this point?
Judge Fran Gall opened up court this morning at 9 a.m., and she said, okay, defense, you may call your witness this morning. And Brad Rosie stood up and said, Your Honor, we rest our case, and sat back down.
That was it.
And
there wasn't some sort of back and forth with a witness that was almost like the walk off, like, ha ha, there you go, we rest. Like in My Cousin Vinny, when Joe Pesci gets his girlfriend up there and she's rattling off the tires and the specs, and he's sitting up there, the defense rests, and he walks off and he's working the crowd. There was no moment like that, right?
No, Brad Rosie just sat right back down, and according to the pool reporters that were in there, not only were they stunned, but also the prosecution had to sit up a little bit and go, what? The jury and the judge all had the same reaction. And the judge said, well, we weren't expecting that this morning. And so the prosecution, which had 3 rebuttal witnesses, and we can get into who they are and what their purpose served, but they had to scramble because those individuals were not even at the Carroll County Courthouse yet.
See, this is how this works. Because, and first of all, in any trial, criminal, civil, whatever it is, you owe a certain obligation to tell the court, tell the other side, here's my schedule. I'm planning on the following witnesses tomorrow. I expect to be, done about such and such time. And that's just expected of you. But you can change your mind. And the problem is that you always have to be prepared for a surprise from the other side. So if the other side says, I'm done, and you want to put it on a rebuttal witness, and let's just talk really quickly what we're talking about here. The way that any trial goes is a criminal trial. The prosecution puts on their case, the defense puts on their case, and then the prosecution, because they have the burden of proof, they have the opportunity to bring on what we call rebuttal witnesses, which can go to something the defense brought up that the prosecution didn't bring up in their original case in chief. So, but your obligation is, as a lawyer, is to have your witnesses ready to go, your evidence ready to go, if that occurs at a time when you're not necessarily prepared for it. So when the defense goes, nah, we're done, we rest, I can immediately see the looks on the faces of the prosecution lawyers going, oh, hell, we're not ready to go yet.
Mm-hmm. So, attorney question here. Let's say that was part of the strategy. Let's say the defense team last night said, you know what? I think we've made our case. Let's go in there, make it look like we're ready for another long day, and just, bam, we're going to surprise them and say, we rest. And they're going to look like, wait, what's going on? Does the jury pick up on things like that?
Sure. I mean, because in that moment, the jury's in the room. And you say, well, unless, it depends. Typically, the jury comes in, everybody's ready to go, defense stands up, says what they're going to say. And in this case, when they say we rest, then yeah. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know. It could have happened before they brought the jury in.
No, they were in there.
See, there you go. And that's typically how it's going to happen. So the jury's going to absolutely see the prosecution look at each other with a oh hell look on their face, and then but at the same time, the judge has a prerogative to say things like, well, would have been nice to know that you weren't going to call any additional witnesses today, and she can chastise them. But
weren't you talking about this yesterday in terms of the defense and how many witnesses they were calling and how kind of convoluted their testimony was when they could have just called witness A, B, C and proved reasonable doubt? Weren't you mentioning something similar to that yesterday?
No, Nigel, you nailed it, as you always do. There's a situation where if you think like you're ahead as a defense attorney and you've established reasonable doubt, just sit down and shut up. And don't convolute is exactly the right word. What's in the jury's mind as to whether this guy, not only whether he did it, but whether there's reasonable doubt as presented by the prosecution. And I was very concerned the defense was going to go on too long, as we talked about yesterday and the day before, and somehow resurrect some concern in the jury's mind. And I think that's why it was really smart. As a pure matter of trial tactics that the defense rested today, I think that was really smart.
So, Donnie, I know you weren't in the court today, but you're part of the group that gets this information. Do we know how the judge or the jury reacted when the defense kind of surprised everybody with this?
Oh, it was with surprise. It was Judge Gall said something to the effect of, well, we weren't anticipating that this morning. And so she had to ask the jury to leave the room so they could start figuring out what in the world was about to happen. And they quickly did. They figured out what was going to happen for the rest of the day. But it was a long recess after that because the state had to wait for their witnesses to get there to the courthouse. And so they did catch pretty much everyone off guard, except for, I think, at least the individuals here in this room, because I felt, especially after last night's testimony, which I think we should take at least a minute at some point to talk about, they may have had their walk away witness.
They're my cousin Vinny, Marissa Tomei on the stand moment, right?
And then they let that simmer overnight and then rested this morning.
So we got about a minute left here before we go to Alan Green for traffic. Let's just go ahead and talk about what we mentioned at the end of our segment yesterday, because you were checking your phone in real time.
Yeah.
And I feel like this phone charger thing is very important.
So what it was is the defense called Stacey Eldridge, a former FBI forensic examiner. She, the defense hired her. They paid her. She pulled data from Liberty German's phone to examine it, and she found and she testified the first time we've ever heard this, that at 5:30 on the day that the girls were supposedly killed, the headphone jack of Liberty German's phone was used, of her iPhone 6. And now at this point, the phone should be under Abigail's body. And so the headphone jack is used back when phones used to have those. The headphone jack is then used. And then by 10:30 at night, whatever was in the headphone jack is pulled out. And she testified that she sees no other way how that could have happened unless human hands were involved. And so then they had a quick recess. When they came back from the recess, State Police Sergeant Chris Cecile, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, he gets on the stand to try and clarify, dirt and moisture inside of the port could trigger that reaction from the phone. And he's asked by the defense, okay, well, where did you pull that information? And he said during recess he Googled it. And then he came back into the room and said that. And so while the information he pulled was from, Apple.com, and maybe it could do that to the headphone jack, the defense attorney, Jennifer Auger, said, so after 7.5 years, you brought that into the courtroom after a Google search during recess?
Right.
And then they ended their day.
And Guy, 30 seconds here. This is all designed to create holes in the timeline, holes in the story that the state is presenting, right?
No, you're exactly right. And again, people need to understand that the defense doesn't have to prove that he didn't do it. They just have to establish reasonable doubt. And that's what
I think that's a big point. I mean, we say that all the time, but I think that's a really important point. Like you talk about the troll that, was sending us messages yesterday. We're not saying Richard Allen is somebody that we want to babysit our kids, but right now, the way the law works and this case is going, it's tough to pinpoint him to these murders.
And by the way, I know we need to take a break, but let's just make a point here, which is that's the beautiful thing about our criminal justice system. It's designed around the idea that it's better to let a guilty person go free than to put a guilty person in prison. And that's the way the system works. That's the way the system should work. And people, when they get worked up about that, don't understand how criminal justice works in this country.
All right, take a little time out here. When we come back, I want Donnie to reset what's next. I know there was some more testimony that was happening today, some cross-examination, but the timeline of what's next is what a lot of people want to know. That conversation's coming up right now. Alan Green has a look at the roads.
Thanks, guys. 65 southbound jams up from White River Bridge to the north split. 70 eastbound is heavy from Tibbs to the south split. And the collector is heavy in both directions, northbound from the south split to Washington, southbound from Michigan back to Washington. This report brought to you by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for Black Friday pricing all month long, plus thousands in rebate savings on top brands. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand showroom. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
64 at the American Standard Heating and Weather Center. All right, now that the defense has rested, when are we going to get closing arguments? When will the jury start to deliberate? And maybe, what's the timeline for a verdict here? We're going to ask all those questions to Donnie Burgess, Guy Relford. We're talking Delphi trial when we come back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My entire family's obsessed with all things Wicked, but my kids can't stop watching the trailer, and now they're having a Wicked-themed sleepover. Do you think our internet can handle all of the streaming and memeing going on?
Well, we've engineered our Xfinity gateways to handle hundreds of devices at once, so they can all stay magically connected.
Wow. Are you a wizard?
I wish. No, just someone that won't let a bad connection burst your internet bubble.
Now through December 22nd, get Thrillifyingly fast 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $35 a month for 12 months with no annual contract and free Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com to switch today. Keep the magic going from your screen to the big screen. And see Wicked, only in theaters November 22nd. Restrictions apply. Requires Prevost bill and an auto-pay stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply. Currently $56 a month for internet service and $15 for Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
Those who don't have 20/20 vision usually do something about it. But many who can't breathe freely through their nose just live with it, not realizing they can have 20/20 breathing. At Advent, we're out to change that. With 20/20 breathing, you'll have fewer sinus infections, more energy, you'll sleep better, and you will live better. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. In 2006, Advent pioneered the balloon sinuplasty procedure. And since, thousands of our patients can tell you, this simple 20-minute in-office solution really works. Balloon sinuplasty can give you 20/20 breathing so you can breathe freely through both nostrils with your mouth closed day and night. And that can change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The holidays are a magical time to get engaged. At Shane Company, we're here to help you create your dream engagement ring in just 3 easy steps. Choose a setting that speaks to your style. Compare diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. Then personalize it with a decorative crown and special engraving. Or choose a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, you'll find everyday competitive prices, a no-pressure environment, and an unmatched free lifetime warranty. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
So the prosecution has rest. The defense has rest. What's next? We're talking the Delphi trial here on the Hammer and Nigel Show. I'm Jason Hammer. Big Nige is here. Attorney Guy Relford in studio, along with reporter Donnie Burgess from the WIBC newsroom. Before we get to the timeline of when closing arguments will start, what other pieces of pertinent information do we need to know that took place today?
The 3 rebuttal witnesses the state brought on today, Breanne Wilbur, a woman that was on the trails on February 13th. She gave just a brief time again of when she was there. She said she didn't see Bridge Guy nor the girls, and she testified to having a good memory, and then she was gone. Brian Harshman from Westville Prison, he was back up there. He listened to Richard Allen's phone calls. he kind of described Allen's new accommodations at the Cass County Jail. He has a chair now he can sit in, and apparently it's much larger than Westville's. But he again tried to bring up this incident at the Cass County Jail of Allen screaming or yelling something at a staff member. And, that the judge did not allow that video in the trial, so I'm not sure what purpose he served today. But then the big one was Dr. John Martin. He was the third and final, a licensed psychiatrist with over 40 years of experience, and he had some interactions with Allen, and he helped develop the plan to give Allen that I believe it's pronounced, is it Hadol, I believe is what the medication was. Haldol. Yeah, so again, Dr. John Martin, the state's rebuttal witness, he goes into detail about how he eventually found Richard Allen absolutely psychotic by one point in April of 2023, and that he had to get Allen on some antipsychotic medication. That's when the Haldol was introduced, and before they even decided, okay, we're going to give him this medicine, Dr. Martin meets with some doctors, and they all agree this man is psychotic, he needs to be treated.
And Guy, I saw your eyebrows raised right there, just like mine did, hearing that testimony from this expert witness about what this drug does to somebody. That's very interesting.
Well, not only what the drug does, but why they prescribed the drug to begin with. Because keep in mind, it's rebuttal. You're trying to rebut the defense's theory of the case as presented through their evidence, and if the defense, as they did yesterday, puts an expert on that says you can absolutely make someone psychotic by putting them in solitary confinement, by depriving them of any opportunity for any human interaction, you can make somebody psychotic, to then say, oh yeah, I treated this guy because he was psychotic. I don't understand what they were trying to accomplish. And again, I may be missing something here that makes no sense to me.
Nigel, you and I have a mutual friend that we spoke to this past weekend that said they have a loved one that was on that drug.
Yes.
And we asked, hey, when your loved one was on that drug, would they say crazy things? Do you think you were getting honest answers from said loved one? And unless I was reading it wrong, this person's answer was, oh, no. This drug can make you say some crazy things.
Look, man, it comes down to reasonable doubt. I feel like we're all talking about this and we're all giving details and we're talking about the minutia here, but reasonable doubt, 2 words, Guy. And the defense is rested. What do we think?
Yeah. Well, I'll leave it to Donnie. Donnie has been in the courtroom. He has the most firsthand knowledge, but and people want to criticize us for talking about what the evidence is. There's reasonable doubt all over this case, Nigel. There's reasonable doubt all over this case.
Donnie, so let's get into timeline here. When are we expected to hear closing arguments? When do we know yet if the jury will go to deliberate and all that stuff?
Yeah, we've got that schedule. And just one final thing from Dr. Martin. He said that by the time Allen had stopped the Haldol treatments and he went a few weeks of being coherent and not showing any more psychotic behavior, Allen did make one more spontaneous confession of, I don't even know if confession is the right word for it. He just said, I would like to apologize to the families of my victims. And then life carried on from there, and here we are, right? So anyways, so tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., the state will begin its closing argument. Each side has agreed to up to 2.5 hours each to present their arguments. And as a matter of fact, I believe the defense is still working on this right now. The defense wanted to add a slight amendment to the jury instructions of how to interpret the incriminating statements that they have now heard at this point. But that's essentially the schedule for tomorrow. Up to 2.5 hours each. The judge said, if you start to go over that, I will give you a gentle reminder and then tell you to stop, which was kind of her. And then after that will be jury deliberations, which I assume, following that timeline, probably about this time tomorrow, the jury is going to be deciding Richard Allen's fate.
So, Guy Relford, we got about 30 seconds left here. Based on that information from Donnie, what's going through your mind?
Well, first of all, people need to understand what a closing argument is. This is the first time when lawyers get to argue their case. Opening statement is just, here's what we expect the evidence to show. And in closing argument, you get to argue. You get to appeal to the logic of the jury. You get to argue the application of the law to the evidence. And this is the first time that lawyers get to really, truly argue. And I think this is going to be really interesting to hear tomorrow how that goes from these lawyers. 2.5 hours, by the way, is really long. Even for a trial this long, 2.5 hours is a long closing argument.
Each side, too.
Each side. And I'm really surprised that one, the judge gave them that long. I'll be surprised if the defense decides to actually take that long. I think that would be a mistake.
Who's going first tomorrow? Is it for the
prosecution?
arguments?
Prosecution always goes first.
Okay.
And then typical criminal trial, the prosecution goes first, the defense goes, and then the prosecution actually gets to rebut.
Interesting. Gentlemen, tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. Yeah. Guy, here's your homework assignment, okay? As a defense attorney, by the time we do this segment tomorrow, the closing arguments would have already happened. I want you to think about what your closing arguments would have been had you been on this case representing Richard Allen. That's your homework. I want you to come on this segment tomorrow and think about what your closing arguments would have been. Can you do that?
Oh, brother, you give me 15 minutes, I do it right now. But
you'd be really popular.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
you bet.
I'm sure
Absolutely.
It'll be really popular if Guy gives his closing arguments in defense of Richard Allen. But that's what you're here for, man. That's what a criminal defense lawyer does.
Guy Relford, Donnie Burgess, you guys are the best. Thank you. Tony Kennett coming up next. We got more election talk right after the news with Harrison Silcox.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
When they could wrap things up. 63 degrees, plenty of clouds over the monument. No rain to be concerned with on your radar. 47 is about where your low settles tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:31. Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's fate could be decided by the end of this week. Donnie Burgess reports.
The defense kicked off court Wednesday morning by resting its case. Allen's attorneys have spent the last few days challenging the credibility of Allen's confessions, the ballistics info, and the state's timeline of the murders. The state had 3 more witnesses testify today, including Dr. John Martin, who spoke to Allen's psychosis and his eventual recovery. Closing arguments begin Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. Each side gets up to 2.5 hours, and then it's up to the jury. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Former President Donald Trump won the presidential election. Vice President Kamala Harris has conceded.
The light of America's promise will always burn bright.
Harris, in her concession speech this afternoon, she says she called Trump to congratulate him on the victory and also discuss the importance of a peaceful transfer of power. Rain came down pretty hard across some portions of Indiana last night.
Overall, across most of central Indiana, we got around 1 inch to 2.25 inches. So that is going to, mitigate some of the drought from worsening.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service said it didn't change things a whole lot, though. Much of the state still dealing with the drought. As Mike Braun gets ready to be the next governor of Indiana, he'll be looking at how each agency in the state works, rather.
I've had tips and cues for a long time from legislators that think this agency needs improvement, that one needs improvement. This one's running well.
Braun said this morning he'll be looking closely at each agency before he considers making any big changes. He's talking about making budget cuts if necessary. With traffic at 5:33, here's Alan Green.
Well, thank you, Harrison. On 65 northbound near King, there's a medical emergency on the right shoulder, and traffic is backed up all the way from the north split. And let me give you something else. 465 southbound jams up from 70 to 74. Northbound 465 heavy between 86 and the dog leg. And 465 southbound to back up between Sam Jones and Hannah. This report brought to you by B Window. Don't miss the annual B Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% off all products, plus 10% in manufacturer's rebates and no payments, no interest for 20 months. Now proud to be employee-owned. Visit bwindow.com for details. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
This Wednesday evening, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, low temperatures in the mid-40s, and a breeze out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high temperature around 61 in the afternoon hours. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
It's the Hammer Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a special guest on the hotline.
He is an investigative reporter for the Daily Signal. He is the host of the Tony Kinnett Cast, and he is a man that won the bet. I owe Tony Kinnett money.
Oh, wow.
We had a bet on when the election would get called. I thought it'd be a couple days. Tony Kinnett, strong in his conviction, said, nope, it'll be in the wee hours of the morning, and I'll be damned, Tony, you won, and I owe you.
Well, I really appreciate the good-natured humor that we all can share, but I'm going to be a little salty because we got off the air at 1 in the morning. They called it at 1:21 a.m. We'd already signed off. I couldn't even tell Allison, this is breaking national news, throw us back on the air, so the people at the Pilot gas station could have heard us, I guess, that late at night.
In Hammer's defense, though, mainstream, not that you listen to mainstream corporate media, we look out for that, but the whole time the narrative has been that this race is razor thin. The margin is razor thin. 1 point here, 1 point there. But in reality, it wasn't that way at all, and that's why it was called so early.
So that's one of the things that I think is the most important to note here is that the polls were a lot more accurate than we gave them credit for, but not in the same way that you would normally give a pollster credit. The election prediction people, those meteorologists, palm readers, throw them in the trash can. The average pollsters, though, do appear to have kind of made some accounts for where Trump is with the electorate. And what we saw last night wasn't Trump kind of running away with an avalanche. And it also wasn't the 2020 meticulous shenanigans that embroiled a lot of the inner city voting counties with not for lack of trying, with bomb threats in Georgia and machines falling apart in Pennsylvania. Instead, Trump was like a slow-moving freight train, and it started to pick up speed and momentum. And, man, I tell you, when Georgia was officially called for Trump, I heard the bubble pop somewhere. And at that moment, it was really just gauging how long it would be until they called the election for Trump.
And, Tony, something Nigel and I talked about earlier in the show is the reaction from social media. The same people who for 4 years have been calling Trump supporters or Donald Trump supporters fascists and, racist. Garbage, Nazis, you name it, the stuff that clearly tells you they have not opened up a history book. They said all of those things, but now they're on social media whining, crying. And the thing that bothers me the most is this was BTA, belt to ass. They lost the presidency. They lost the Senate. Looks like they're going to lose the House. Maybe the popular vote. Like everybody else is wrong, but these lunatics. Do you get that same vibe?
Straight into my veins. I love it. For months, we've been telling them, hey, don't build an entire election around abortion and calling men bad. That's not going to work. Hey, don't spend an entire election making a coup and no primary whatsoever the baseline for your party. Hey, don't ignore illegal immigration and a bad economy and try to tell us that actually the job numbers are good, even though there's way less of them. So they didn't listen. And instead, both at the local level and the national level, we had this, sure, there's World War III around the corner. Sure, no one can afford to eat, but you know what? I want to screw everyone I possibly can and then get unlimited abortions. That'll win the election. It didn't work. It didn't.
And was there one aspect that sticks out to you more than anything else about Trump's campaign? Like, what connected with people the most? Is there something that sticks out off the top of your head?
Yeah, I was in Shelbyville, and Donald Trump Jr. came to speak. And I was standing next to a couple of different individuals from the left and from the right on this little wooden platform listening to him speak. And one line he said just was one of the best markers for why the Trump campaign works. Donald Trump Jr. said, I'm rich. I have billions of dollars in my family. He said, if I know how bad grocery store prices are, then you know it's got to be terrible. That note made everyone in the room laugh because it's true. I don't expect him to say, I go to the grocery store just like you people. I, too, worked at a McDonald's when I was saving for college in the 1980s or whatever other kinds of nonsense that Kamala Harris spewed, but just very real about who they are and who they aren't. And if you like that, cool. And if not, I don't really care. But building that kind of coalition based on a very authentic from one rally to the next, that contrasted with Kamala, who might be in a dead heat for the most fake politician next to Hillary Clinton. It's an amazing feat.
I think my favorite joke that I've seen online so far today is first it was Hillary Clinton, now it's Kamala Harris. Donald Trump's on pace to beat as many women as Doug Emhoff.
Wow.
Too soon? I'm sorry.
Oh, man. I mean, it's funny because Kamala Harris has likely been a huge part in brushing that story under the rug.
Right.
And so, she owns any kind of jokes that are pointed in that way. Doug Emhoff is
you were right.
A very disgusting person. Thank you.
And this takes us into something that, I think a lot of people need to understand. The other big loser in this thing, not just Kamala Harris, was traditional national media. Because you're right, the media in this country, I'm talking about the stuff at a national level, the legacy stuff, they did everything in their power to carry this awful candidate across the finish line. They tried to bury all the dirt about Doug Emhoff, and it didn't work. Podcasts and things like that became more popular than CBS, than ABC, than CNN. And I think that was a big part of why Donald Trump resonated with more people this time around.
That's a huge kicker because when you look at COVID, people always point to COVID as the time when the media finished off its credibility with the American people. I disagree. That was when the glass cracked. That's when you started to see the cracks. When the media completely fell apart and the average American no longer trusted the media was when Joe Biden got up in front of the country after this huge report that Biden was senile, couldn't remember when his son died, couldn't even remember if he was the vice president or not. And Biden got up in front of the country to defend himself and then confused the presidents of Egypt and Mexico and rambled and bumbled and was like bumping into walls. And then the media tried to say, oh, well, actually, that was just a bunch of cheap fake stuff. That's when the American people totally just said, I think these people have been lying to me. And ever since then, I really have not seen anyone go, oh, it's time to find out the truth. Let's turn on Channel 13 Eyewitness News. Sorry.
And I think this is where Barron Trump gets a little hat tip here. Because it sounds like he was the main person telling the old man, look, stop going on these interviews where they hate you. Go on with Theo Vaughn. Go on with Joe Rogan. Go on with this gamer guy on YouTube. And again, I thought that was a winning strategy.
I mean, it's a lot better than watching Tim Walz and AOC play Madden talking about setting up pick sixes. Although, hey, I will say this. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz did somehow set up a pick six for this election, so good for them.
How about Kamala Harris not coming back out to her constituents wherever she was holed up at after they called the election? And I mean, did you hear any of that audio? The spokesman came out and said, sorry, Kamala will not be back out tonight. And they all started booing.
It was really funny because the guy came out and said that in the same tone of voice that I would assume someone might ask his wife's boyfriend if he wanted anything to drink. It was just really embarrassing. And then he got booed because they've been telling everyone, drip fed through like sugar tubes over the last couple of months, that the vibes and the joy and all of this was going to carry him right through. And God, Taylor Swift's endorsement, Taylor Swift, and that was just going to be the death knell. And all of a sudden that amounted to Flint tap water. It just wasn't worth anything.
Hey, one more thing on national, and then we'll bring you back and we'll talk some local stuff too. Man, you look at the numbers, the polling, the data, the voting info. minorities voted for Donald Trump. Now, he wasn't winning, like the major total, but he was doubling his total from the last time around with black voters, with Hispanic voters. One, why do you think that is? And number two, how delicious is it that people like Joy Reid and Charlemagne the God have to eat a little crow seeing what happened here?
It is my favorite thing. First thing I did when I woke up this morning is I had received a text with some exit polling data from a guy who I lived with his family while I was going to college in Wisconsin. Hispanic family from Nicaragua, fully speaks Spanish inside the house. Called him up this morning, and he picked up the phone, and at the same time we both just said, "Hey," because Latino men went for Donald Trump. First presidential Republican candidate in history that polled Latino men as the majority. And by the way, also
Trump won Miami-Dade County, for the love of God.
Oh, man. I mean, and it's not even in just the Hispanic vote, the black vote, the Jewish vote, the Asian American vote, which is going more red by the day. I mean, some of these survivors of Marxism from communist China who have come over and have been running for elections, they are just savage on the campaign trail. This is the new Republican Party. The whole diversity painting the Democrats have been trying to tell everyone that they ended up being the party full of suburban white moms and a bunch of very sad white beta men. And the Republican Party is this diverse group of immigrants that are trying to build a better country. I mean, it's kind of incredible. That is due to Trump.
Can you come back for one more quick segment with us, Tony?
Yeah.
All right. Tony Kennett, the host of the Tony Kennett Cast, he's coming right back. We'll talk about the local races. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
As the leaves turn golden and the air grows crisp, there's something special brewing, something that captures the very essence of fall. Introducing Pumpkin Something, a smooth, spice-filled bourbon infused with the perfect mixture of allspice, pumpkin, clove, cinnamon, and ginger. It's the taste of autumn in a glass, a sip of warmth on a cool evening. Crafted with care and precision at Hotel Tango Distillery. Known for its commitment to quality and innovation, this new blend promises a unique tasting experience that celebrates the essence of fall. Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery is guaranteed to elevate any fall cocktail. Add it to your warm cider in the evening or to your fall lattes. You can do anything with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery. Available for a limited time only. Visit your local liquor store and bring home the taste of fall with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery, because autumn never tasted so good. Sip responsibly.
Man, are you kidding me? 50% off all window styles plus 0% interest for 60 months with Window Nation. 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. Check it out. I've had Window Nation windows for years. Give your windows a test run right now, okay? Like, open each one. Does it open correctly? Does it stay open? Is it hard to open? Do you see condensation or leaks? Are the windows moldy? If they are, trust me, you're going to need new windows. According to experts, costs are going to go up again this winter, up to 23%.
50% off all style of windows. Find the style that you like, and I promise you it's 50% off, plus 0% interest for 60 months. Even if you're just thinking about getting new windows, call Window Nation today. 866-90-NATION. One of their awesome staff members will answer any questions you have. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Fellas, if you're not upbeat like you used to be, it could be low testosterone. It affects our moods. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, can help you get back to your best. Guys have different T levels. We're not all the same. Don't go for TRT referred to as a standard dosage plan. Ask. There's a difference.
Look for TRT with an optimized personal treatment plan like you'll get with the experts at Low T Center. Go to lowtcenter.com. Book that appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun, brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Wendy's bacon or sausage breakfast burrito is everything you want, all rolled up into a warm tortilla. If it's a full-blown breakfast, gotta be Wendy's. At participating U.S. Wendy's.
Weekend emergency? No problem. They're here for you 7 days a week at B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical. B+W.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard air dealer.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
All right, Alan Green is filling in for Matt Baer.
Well, thank you. 65 northbound near King exit 117. A medical emergency on the right shoulder. Traffic is stopped up from the north split. Northbound collector jams from Michigan to the north split. 70 eastbound from Harding to the south split is heavy. And 465 northbound delays between Shadeland and 71st. This report brought to you by B Window. Don't miss the annual B Window Black Friday sale. Up to 52% off all products, plus 10% in manufacturer's rebates, and no payments, no interest for 20 months. Now proud to be employee-owned. Visit bwindow.com for details. I'm Alan Green. Follow us on X for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
64 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC. Back with Tony Kennett of the Tony Kennett Cast. He's also an investigative reporter at the Daily Signal. Had some great election coverage last night. Let's talk about some stuff in our backyard. It's funny, Tony, because so many pollsters kept saying, wow, the momentum is with Jennifer McCormick. Oh, Todd Rokita, he's unlikable. Nigel and I were on the air until about, 6:55 last night is when we signed off. By the time I went to the bathroom and got to my car, the governor's race had already been called in Indiana.
I loved this so much. Everyone, I think that because Indiana is a Republican state, that every 4 years we're like, oh, guys, it's going to happen this year. There's going to be a Democratic governor. It's like, what data are you looking at? And their data is like the smell of the armpits of someone in Fort Wayne. Like, what are you talking about? And I saw these articles. Well, I talked to the one person who had a Jennifer McCormick sign in the entire city of Terre Haute. Like, you heard you say that, right? 1 yard sign, all of Terre Haute. And you're writing this article trying to stress to me that she's got a chance. She didn't even pull her home county. Now, who made that prediction on this show?
Believe it was you, Mr. Kennett.
Well, I will say this. Todd Rokita, about a year ago, he and I were at an event, and he pulls out of his pocket a 60, a cigar, and hands it to me, and he says, smoke this on Election Day. And after Todd Rokita beat Destiny Wells with a barbershop leather strap, I whipped that cigar out and enjoyed it for all it was worth, because Destiny Wells and her arrogant nonsense has now lost 2 different state offices that she's run for. And
now, how is that, Tony? Hold on. How could that be? Because people like Adam Wren and Greg Doyle and all of those writers were telling me how great all of these people were and how awful people like Danny Lopez and Todd Rokita and Micah Beckwith are. That's weird.
Now, I'm going to go to bat a little bit, actually, here in the case of Adam Wren, and that he does like a lot of left-leaning candidates, but I didn't get the vibe that Adam Wren thought there was some kind of ethereal momentum for Wells. I think Adam...
No, but he had Micah, syndrome pretty bad. Let's be honest here.
Briggs.
Well, I mean, you're kind of if you're a Democrat journo living in Indiana, you're kind of starved for candidates of any quality. I mean, you start getting out into like the Muncie area, and the Democrats are basically just the meth heads in a dress. I mean, it really is that bad.
What's coming up on the big show tonight, my friend?
I didn't get to play any of the media meltdowns from last night because we were delivering election returns. And, dude, that 7-hour show was killer. So we're going to dig into some of the meltdowns, and I may eat another steak. Who knows? That was such a great experience.
Find him on social media at The Tonus on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Tony Kennett, have a great show tonight, man.
Thanks, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Have you heard the saying, cash is king? This is true most of the time, but it's not when you're retired.
Hey, this is Rob.
And this is Casey.
When you're retired, cash is not king. Income is king.
Discover how you could turn your savings into a guaranteed stream of income in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy. We trust Bill to help us with planning for our retirement, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000, call Bill right now at 317-932-9912.
Social Security alone won't be enough to pay for your retirement. You need to create other sources of income that you can count on for the rest of your life.
Call Bill Demery now at 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912. Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy at 317-932-9912.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first. And then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications.